The power break. Why taking a break can accelerate your wealth. My name is Tracy Montgomery, and I talk about all things menopause, midlife, and all that goes with it. So, often a strategic career break can help us reset and move us forward. Now, when we go through the menopause journey, there may be a time where we feel that the work environment, everything that we're doing at work is getting too much for us. And that actually thinking about having a break, a reset, can catapult us forward financially, mentally, and in our workspace. So what we need to remember, though, is that we don't want to rush into this. And we don't want to be thinking that just because the menopause symptoms are causing us issues, are causing us problems with where we are at the moment within our working capacity, that we cannot reset and move forward. We don't want to get into the mindset of, I've reached this certain age, this is what's happening to me, this is how it's going to be from now on. This is how it is today, tomorrow's going to be different. So, what we first want to think about is whether this is the time to have this break, whether having this break is going to be a time for us to reset, whether we are capable of resetting, and whether we can move ourselves forward into a different direction, a different trajectory. So, before we start having this break, before we go into asking our employers if we are employed at this time, talking to ourselves if we have our own business about whether this is the time, we need to put something in place. So we know that having a break can make us think sharper, can make us become more innovative and more adaptable, more resilient in what we do within our workspace. We've seen that if we've been to university before, because you would have had semesters. You would have worked for a 10, 12-week semester, depending on what course you were, you'd have a break. You'd come back. In that reset time, you chilled, you did the studenty things, and then you came back for more work. At the end of that, you were ready then to go on to your job. Now, you may not have been in the same job since you were a teen, since you left uni, and it might really now be a good time with the menopause symptoms getting in the way, maybe, making you think about new beginnings, because we know that the menopause symptoms, some of them can be quite debilitating. Now, in my part, for my journey on the menopause transition, I've been left with chronic fatigue. I get really exhausted really quickly, and I also procrastinate a heck of a lot more. Now, my daughter is of the opinion that I've got ADD, ADHD, one of them. Probably not the hyperactivity, but definite distractions. And I can hyper-focus on one thing and then lose track. And that seems to have been emphasized since the menopause. So we have to think about what we can do. So I know there are certain times of the day where I am more productive. I know there are certain times of the day where I am non-productive, and I know there are certain things that I need to do within my day. I can use that to my advantage to plan forward, so I can have a break if I need one and then reset. Now, when we're talking about moving careers, we want to look at whether the career we're in now is something we want to stay in. Do we want to stay focused on it? Do we want to hyper focus on it? Do we want to take our skill set and send it into a different direction? So the first thing you want to look at is defining your purpose. What is it that you want to be doing? What is your life path now on? Because we know that we've reached middle age We may have had kids that have left. We may have parents that or relatives that are elderly that need more of our attention. We may find that going to the gym 5 days a week is just a little bit too much. Our life can be changing. So look at what our life purpose is and then plan. Plan your timeline. So one of the things we have to remember, like when you first started out on your career path, when you first left university, if you left university in your 20s, your timeline is quite long. Now we have got to middle age. Now we have gone through the menopause transition. We're in the menopause transition. Our timeline is shrinking. So the amount of time that we have got to change things around is less. That in itself can create some stress. So what we need to look at is whether we want to stay on the trajectory that we're on, or whether we want to take this career break, whether we want to take a look at ourselves and change our trajectory. Without planning, we're not going to be able to move forward. So you may be thinking, I don't want to stay in this position anymore. You may be thinking that this job is overwhelming. You may be thinking the hours that I am spending in my job, then coming home and doing the household, the family activities is too much for me. And you might be wanting to look at a different path. Plan it. Look at what you need to do. And then think about where you want to be. And then look at what options there are out there. So I have options that I can talk to you about. I can talk to you about options on whether you stay where you are, whether you do want to move, and I can give you options to move into a different trajectory, a different pathway. They're all choices. And the best thing that you can do is to start from now. Look at if you want to be here and stay here. Look if you want to change it. If you want to change it, you need to start planning for something else. And that could be a little break, even if you go on a holiday, even if you want to get away for a while. So if you want to talk to me about where you're at, where you want to be, where you want to go, how you want to do it, let me know. My name's Tracy Montgomery, and I talk about all things menopause, midlife, and all the crap that goes with it. Remember, you don't have to stay stuck. You can move to something different. It's not the end of everything just because you've hit menopause and you feel like things aren't going the way you want them to go. Hope that's been useful. So if you want a new trajectory, you want a new pathway, or just want to go somewhere different, let's talk. Drop a comment below and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.